guys, this is Franny from Hindsight 2020. We're going to try out another midweek show. This is called Cover to Cover. So basically, what this is, myself and our panelists here are going to talk about an album that we can listen to from cover to cover, no skips, all killer, no filler. Talk about these albums that we absolutely adore. Uh, Before we get to those, let's introduce our panelists for today. As always, I have my co-host here, Arnoldo Treviño. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Doing a lot of nothing, binging a lot of anime, and that's about it.
What have you been watching?
I was watching Kill la Kill earlier, and then High School of the Dead, some Avatar too. So
It's a funny mix of anime to watch.
yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Caught the weeb, caught the weeb.
Yeah. Went from like
Definitely.
Avatar to like some like just titties. I was like, okay, yeah, that's what that is.
I was
I can
hoping
respect
other
that.
people wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna remain under wraps about how much of a weeb I am.
you
It's too
like
late to say
wrestling. You like wrestling and pop punk. We know you're a weeb.
it comes with the title of being in a pop.
Exactly. It basically does at this point. It's part of the uniform. We also have recurring guest, crowd favorite, Victoria Craddock. Victoria, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. I've been doing nothing, but I finished New Girl. If anyone knows about that, and now I'm watching Stranger Things. I haven't seen it yet. That's all I've been doing for the past week.
Go,
Or
go.
month.
Nice.
I haven't seen the latest season of Stranger
I haven't
Things.
seen any of it. Kat yelled at me about it, and she was like, "How have you not seen it?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just didn't put the time in to watch it." But it's really good so far. I like it a lot.
Dope.
Wait to
Good
get
to
in.
hear.
Just wait till you get in your feelings season 3.
No, dude, I cry really easily. I don't want to do that. I already know.
All right, and we also have recurring guest here, pop punk vocalist, wrestling aficionado. We've got Fernando Martinez. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Tired overall. I just got off work, but pretty good.
Dope, dope. And then
Pretty good.
last but certainly not least, we've got comedian,
Aw.
podcaster, radio host, uh, wrestling historian, and possibly one of my favorite people in the world. We've got Raymond Cabrera back on the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Bow, 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 bow.
I'm excited because this Sunday you're going to be back on the show to review the second half of Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion.
Yes.
Emotion.
Quite possibly
excited.
our most contested episode. All of us.
It's
just
been a fun
arguing
one.
with yeah, it's been really fun. So I'm very very excited about that. And without further ado, let's get into it. So again, the name of this show is going to be cover to cover. So we all selected albums that we absolutely love and adore that we can listen to from cover to cover, no skips, all killer, no filler. I'm really excited to hear what you guys are going to talk about because, if this is albums that you can listen to cover, that means you have a lot to say. And I just want to see how enthusiastic you guys are about this record. So we're gonna go in order of who's, can't remember if this is clockwise, counterclockwise. That doesn't matter. We're gonna start with Arnold Treviño here, who's going to be talking about.
Yes.
You can see down below, Death Grips, ex-military. Duh!
Dude, thank you for this. I've been
so-
trying to remember Death Grip's name all day.
Really?
Yeah, no lie. I was talking to one of my coworkers about something, and Death Grips came up, and I was like, "What is his name?" I couldn't remember his name for the life of me. I spent like 12 hours
Like
trying to
MC
find out
Ride?
about him.
Like the actual
yeah, like his actual
vocalist?
name. Yeah.
MC Ride.
Okay. The whole time I was
Like-
trying to think
yeah,
about
yeah.
it for some reason.
So you're talking about
Well, now-
ex-military.
Yes, I'll be talking about ex-military. So let's do a small little synopsis of the album and the band. So Death Grips is a hardcore meets hip-hop, punk meets rap group from Sacramento, California. And ex-military is their debut album or slash mixtape filled with ingenious samples ranging from psych rock, punk music, some drumcore, and some movies in there, and also some random YouTube clips. These samples were unlicensed, so that's the reason why you don't see this on standard music streaming platforms. It is on SoundCloud, so if you need to go listen to it, which you should go listen to it, go to SoundCloud or just type in Death Grips Ex Military. It's a free download, so if you still hang around with your iPod, like, go for it.
Do you, do
So
you
I
still have
recommend-
your old school iPod?
I do. I have my I think it's the 80 gigs or so. Yeah, but I'm
Nice.
on that streaming game, so oh well. So I recommend you go through SoundCloud if you want. So with the album, you have head bobbing beats to dimensional breaking mindfuckery at times, and and with MC Ride as the vocalist, he doesn't really flow. He more like roars and bellows with a reason. His voice is what I guess you can consider a raw avant-garde rap, and every word is not just said; it's like exclaimed. So everything's with an exclamation point. You get punk aggression noise in a hip hop context. You get sexual addict themes, dimension altering instrumentals, psychedelic beats that can assault you. So it starts with Beware, and this track, it's not your usual track that's like opening like shoving shit in your face immediately, like you would expect from a punk album. This is more like something that's like a slow build. That's kind of like the track that is like a mouth of the beast in front of you opening slowly. Then you get, you go into Spread Eagle, and which you get songs about addictions on there. I can go on about every damn song, but I'll just give you a quick synopsis here. You have other songs like Guillotine and Tachyon, which are very heavy glitch noise. One being more unnerving, while the other is more like electric and like something that you can maybe like play in your car without somebody like getting mad at you, maybe. But all in all, the beats in this album, like if there was just instrumentals on this as an album, that'd be awesome too. But I feel like MC Ride's vocals add another texture, another layer to this album. So it's almost like an instrumental to itself, because there's at times where you can't even hear him, but it adds that flavor. These beats are untouchable and solid. I will say this album's not for everyone. It's intense, and it's not for the faint of heart or for purist of punk or hip hop. So if you're gonna go into this, go into this knowing that like you're stepping into another person's world, and it's heavily filled with samples. So
Yeah, I've always really wanted to try getting into Death Grips, but I for some reason it's just so hard for me, man. I do believe it's partly because what you said, it's so jarring. It does kind of like assault you, and
yeah, it's a raw album compared to the other ones. Like you can have like other albums that are like more electronic or more like this. This one's like their debut. They go raw, and honestly, yeah,
it goes,
it's not
it
for
goes, it
everyone.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know this is supposed to be, albums that we unilaterally love across the board, but do you have a favorite track on here? Anything that you think stands out to you the most? Something that you're like, this is the track that really connected with me, or anything like that?
Mhm. I would say like the track that everyone should listen to is Guillotine, because this is like the song that that set the band apart from like everything else, and then also at the same time like is their like defining song for these early years. I do like the instrumentals on Spread Eagle Across the Block, because you have Rumble by Link Ray sampled on there. But honestly, I would say maybe Lord of the Game on this, just because you have like that's the first song that you get the Blue Devils drum corps sample on there, and I've never heard anyone sample a fucking drum corps, and so I would honestly, and then you get a Brass Monkey sample on there too, so it's kind of hard. I would say either like it's hard. It's very hard to pick an album, but a song out of this album, but it would definitely be like either Guillotine or Lord of the Game or Tachyon.
Okay, cool. Anybody here have heard this album? Anybody here have any opinions on ex-military?
I love ex-military.
Same. And
Yeah.
it's funny
That's
because I
it,
just
that's
found out
it.
about Death Grips last year, and they've been around for a really good while.
Yeah, they've been around for quite a bit.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite tracks probably has to be Spread Eagle Cross the Block.
Mhm.
But yeah, Guillotine is a good track, and I don't know, just that whole album is so. I see what you mean, or I know what you mean by every single track is just like a banger, and yeah, I don't know, I love that album.
It's a
All
great
right.
album to start off with if you're going to get into Death Grips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like you said, it really isn't for like the faint of heart. Like if you're very much a hip hop purist, if you're very much into like one specific genre, going into it and hearing a lot of it like meld together the way that it does is pretty jarring at first, but I actually enjoyed it the first time I listened to it.
Nice.
I think my problem is Arnold says my problem is that I started with the wrong album, which is the reason why I can get into them.
What
But,
album did you start with?
Somewhere I have that flow chart you gave me. Project Jenny,
Do you remember the cover?
something like that. Can't remember.
Any Death?
No, you're.
Nope. Yeah, Project Death. Yeah, Project Death.
Jenny Death.
Oh, Jenny Death. Yeah, I think Franny's breaking up a little bit here.
I don't know the fucking names. I just remember. Can y'all hear
You're
me?
breaking
Am I
in
good?
here and there,
Is this happening again? I hope not.
for me at least. It's all
Ah,
good. It's all
shit.
good. We'll go ahead and go towards Victoria.
Hello.
Yep. Okay. So now we have Victoria here, wholly unprepared. So we caught her by surprise. But let's talk about your album. What do you got?
My album is obviously Folie by Fall Out Boy, one of the emo Trinity bands that I would literally maybe die for 100%. They are like my all-time favorite album, like artists. They have been my number one artist like on Spotify like since I started using Spotify back in like 2014, 2013 maybe. I don't know when it started. It was high school. I remember that vividly. But I think all their albums are phenomenal. Post hiatus debatable, but specifically Folie. It's like they're like the last album before their hiatus, and I just think it's like because it's really different, but like their stuff was already really different, so the fact that they made that even more so like unique was really cool for me. And I like stuff that's very like upbeat. So when I heard the album, the first song is Disloyal Order of Water Buffalo, and like just the whole like kind of marching band vibe of it, the like the organ with that piano and all that, like got me by surprise. I was like, what is this? This is not what I'm used to. But it also just catches your attention because like Patrick Stum's vocals are, he just like does the absolute most in this album. So you get to really hear like his whole range really, really well, which you hear pretty much in all the albums, but this one was like something different. I know like a big thing about it was also it was Pete Wentz kind of like not got tired, but he's kind of like, oh well, like I'm kind of done with people like the albums being focused on me. Like let's try something different, more like the world around us, you know. And like you can tell a lot of the lyrics in the albums where like I know like my high school quote for my yearbook for like senior quote was you can only blame your problems on the world for so long, which I got from that album, and I was just like, ooh, that does hit different.
Hell yeah.
He's not wrong. But yeah, like every song just like delves into this like really wacky like I don't know what the word is, but a big mix of all types of genres and stuff. And I know like Joe Trumman took a lot of stuff from like bluesy jazz stuff for the like guitars and stuff like that, which I could tell a lot. Like it was really cool. I'm not like a super big jazz or blues fan, but I mean for me like it made me want to kind of like look into it just from how like nice and how beautiful it sounded like in all the songs. And I know like a lot of songs like Tiffany Blues and 27 have that thing where they like kind of like go into each other. So it's like that flawless like transition, which I was like blown away by. 'Cause I know it's been done a lot, but just like with the musical tones they had for the album, hearing it like just like full through was like, damn. And I mean like, I just thought it was like perfect, man. Like everything, like every song was so good. I think like I would say I love all the songs. The one song I'm like is the lowest on my list is "She's My Winona." I can't tell you why. Something about it just doesn't hit that good like the rest of the album, like the other songs. But I just thought like it flowed so well since there's a big mix of just like them talking about like societal stuff, like people and like how obsessed they are with themselves and stuff. Like I don't care, and then other ones are just like the Gulf Ship Standard with that whole like kind of like relationship with like his father and stuff, or like in the song like with the father and all that. Like I was just like, wow, I do feel this on another level. Like so I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where like it has such a big mix of everything that I think anyone could pretty much like it just because you can hear something in the songs that you're like, okay, cool. Like I like that and other stuff. Like I can listen to this, you know. And it's just all of it. It's also kind of sad, but that upbeat where you're like, damn, that lyric was a little fucked up, but like I love it because you know it's that mixture of like where the music doesn't really like fit the lyrics sometimes, which is I guess every album of theirs had that, but a lot of the tone was more of that like kind of emo, like oh no, like you know I'm fucking sad. Here it is. And this one was just kind of more like yeah, life is kind of sucks. The world's kind of falling apart. No one's really having a good time, but that is just how life is, you know. But yeah, I think it's a phenomenal album. I could listen to it every day for the rest of my life, like 100%. I know it's like their most hated album of all time. They do not deserve it.
I feel like
You know, that was literally it. You're good.
I do feel like Fall Out Boy wrote the most perfect ballad on this album, which is "What a Catch, Donnie."
Yeah.
That's definitely like a top tier song for me. I can listen to that song just about every day of my life as well. I absolutely adore that track. And I've never really understood the hate that this album got, you know. Um, it did go in a more grandiose direction than, you know, previous efforts, but I think the I feel like that change was very much signaled in their previous record, Infinity on High. You were already getting an idea of like this is where we're going, like this super grandiose pop rock. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked this album because it's fucking great.
Absolutely.
Uh,
That's my gift to you guys.
So, what's your opinion on like new Fall Out Boy?
Okay. From a very unbiased like standpoint, if I didn't know who Fall Out Boy was and I heard their new stuff without like the name attached to it, I'd be like, yeah, this shit kind of slaps. Like it's cool. It's not like where I'm like, oh yeah, like this really makes me think and makes me feel like I am in a different like universe of existence, a plane. You know what I mean? But like it's enjoyable. It's not like bad where I'm just like, oh, you guys tried real fucking hard to make this good. Like it's fun. It's I don't want to say they sold out, but it's very much fits what was coming out at the time, I guess. So that's why when I heard everything coming out, I was like, okay, yeah, like if I ignore that it's from Fall Out Boy, I like it a lot. But I'm also very biased, and anything they put out, I would love with my entire heart, except Paxam Days. That was I don't know what that was. I can't get behind that one. But if I look at it from that standpoint of just like, oh, it's not Fall Out Boy, like they wanted to try something new. It's like, okay, it's not bad. You guys weren't trying to be super like, yeah, like here's something that repeats the same chorus like 18 times with like a verse, and that's literally it. So I kind of appreciate that. Like some of the lyrics were kind of cool. Some of the songs were really like fun. Like I enjoyed them, and I can like listen to them and not be like, turn it off, please. So I mean, I think just from that standpoint, if you just take away like Fall Out Boy's like previous like all their stuff to now, I think you can probably like separate and be like, yeah, it's good. It's not Fall Out Boy good, but it's still like you can tell they just wanted to try something new or like move away from what they were before. So I can't blame them for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think I kind of fell off the Fall Out Boy wagon after Save Rock and Roll. That was an album that I actually did genuinely enjoy a lot. Had a lot of good tracks on there, but everything after that I can't really get into, especially this new, the most recent album, Mania.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. I couldn't. I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't.
That's very fair. It's understandable. I'm just insane, and I would just anything they put out, I will wholeheartedly support with my entire soul. I just can't get out of that, you know.
I don't know much about Fall Out Boy, but I know that Pete Wentz was on a Weezer music video at one point.
He's also in a Day to Remember music video.
I just
1 year on the VMAs, I think it was in 2004 2005 because Green Day headlined the show. They invited a bunch of people on stage, and Pete Wentz was the first one to run up on there. during their performance. And that turned out to be like an almost deadly thing because that performance was supposed to have like this massive pyro show. So if the show producers hadn't stopped that on time, some of the kids climbing up to the fucking stage could have burnt alive because of the fucking pyro. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
That would have been
Oh,
so.
God.
brutal.
then
That would have been
go.
insane to watch, but no, it's really fucked up.
Who's the American idiot on that?
They all were. Every single person on that stage was the idiot.
Every single person on that stage, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a fun little tidbit about Pete Wentz.
There's a lot of
I
fun
mean, he's
tidbits
included.
about that guy. That guy is something else. He is
Yeah.
another. I don't even know how to describe it. I
think
love
he's-
him, but
He's got some photos online too.
that he does. A classic, never forget. Our king. He started the internet with that. I'm just kidding.
Pete Wentz is the equivalent to Al Gore. They both started the internet.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anyone would deny that.
I mean, maybe a couple people, but
Well, there, yeah,
It's just an inconvenient truth.
yeah.
remember when he was married to Ashley Simpson?
Absolutely. I loved that time. That was like
Yeah.
peak, like the perfect aesthetics could like just mix. It was great. I loved it.
Did you ever own any clandestine clothes?
I did not. My mom wouldn't let me get any. She was like, "No, you're like dark. Like you should like dress like nicely." And I was like, "Mom, if I don't get this shirt, I'm gonna die." And she was like, "No, you'll be fine."
I know my girlfriend has like a jacket here somewhere, but I'm not gonna go pull it out.
Kind of messed up. You wouldn't go pull it out, man. That's fashion incarnate. Please tell her I am insanely jealous of her, and I wish I were her for that sole reason. I wish I had one. I wish.
There's
Never mind.
a little bit of a clothes on eBay that are like tremendously expensive for no fucking reason.
Anything tied to Pete Wentz, I would pay expensive money for. So you know what, Arnold? Watch yourself.
Okay, go do that.
Maybe I will. I got that
Hey, we might-
unemployment, so
Next episode.
I'm gonna.
If you're not rocking the clandestine hoodie on the next episode, the system has failed us.
I'm gonna get the whole
Yeah.
fit. I'm gonna get the whole fit. Don't worry. Yeah. But yeah, that was my album, guys. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you listen to it full through, like I did, like I do every week or so.
Nice. Wow. Dedication.
I love that album, but I am a bigger fan of their previous album, Infinity on High. That one I can listen to cover
That's
to cover.
The one
Any
album
day
I
of the
can't
week.
listen to cover to cover.
But-
Like that's the one where I have like a select, I think 4 or 5 songs that I can like tolerate.
Really?
Well, no, the 5 songs I like off that album are like god tier. I think they're phenomenal,
Oh shit!
good stuff. But like anything past those, I just get really like frustrated, and I'm like, when is this over? When will the song end so I can have some peace in my life? Yeah, it just didn't hit right for me. That's like the one I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Understandable though. I can get that, but damn, I love that record. I remember that one getting a bunch of shit too when that one came out.
Yeah,
You know, anything that isn't from Under the Core Tree got a bunch of shit upon release.
absolutely.
Um,
They like messed
To
up
the
by.
point that I
pioneering-
remember when Arnold and I went to go see Fall Out Boy in Austin.
Yeah.
They were so afraid to play anything new that the set list was pretty much from Under the Core Tree, with like a handful of other albums,
Mhm.
songs sprinkled in there, but it was mainly the hits.
Under the
Which
Cork
I
Tree is the only
appreciate.
album I really listened to from Fall Out Boy.
It defined just like an entire era. That's fair. When I saw them in, I don't know when. It was one of their one of the more recent tours. I saw them.
Mhm.
It was a stadium, I think. But I remember they played Disloyal Order of Water Buffalo. But Patrick was just like, "All right, guys, here's a song." I just went into it really fast, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, I'm gonna cry, and I cried, obviously. But I know, they were trying to kind of venture and be like, well, I mean, what are you guys gonna do? Leave mid-tour, mid-show? No, and no one left. So I mean, they weren't wrong. But yeah, I think that's all they did for Folie was just I don't care, America's Sweethearts, and that one. And everything else was anything except Folie. But that's fair. I don't blame.
Would y'all go to the Mega Hella tour if that ever comes back?
Listen,
Dude,
I saw him with
yes.
Khalifa, so I mean, I'm gonna obviously go
What
see
is that? What is that?
Hella Mega tour is Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer
Fuck yeah.
for
Yeah.
the
Just
for
go
the
for Weezer.
chavorrucos, dude.
Dude, and what was crazy is if you watch the early videos of them like teasing it and then playing like smaller shows, Fall Out Boy was only playing all their old stuff. Green Day only played all their old stuff. Like they didn't touch anything
Yeah.
past like the albums that everybody loved them for.
Great.
Interesting.
So Weezer only played Pinkerton because the only
Basically,
album that mattered.
yeah.
And Blue Album.
And
It
Blue
was
album.
just Blue Album, Green Album, and Pinkerton, and that was it.
That's dope. That's dope. I want to hear Weezer play "Tired of Sex" live just once. You know, I need that in my life.
One time would be a dream come true. That's it.
Exactly. Just I'll leave after they do that. You know, they'll play that song and I'll be like, "Thanks, guys. I'll buy a shirt and I'll see myself out." You know, just that's all I need. All right, let's get into the next album. We've got Fern here. Fern, what do you got for us today?
I have 18 Summers by the band Rome Hero Foxes, who is actually from Houston, Texas.
Nice.
They came out, they started making music super early on, and in 2014 I believe they dropped an album called For When You're Falling Backwards. That's their first full length. It's super good, and it sounds a lot like Dance Gavin Dance and like Circa Survive and that sort of sound, because that's what their vocalist and guitar player CJ was into at the time. And they got discovered by Kurt Travis and basically made it kind of big for a time. They settled down, they got older, and they started making different music that a lot of people didn't like. Like, they got a lot of hate for the 2 EPs that they made prior to 18 Summers. When they dropped 18 Summers, everybody that was a fan of them from For When You're Falling Backwards completely dropped off from them. Like, they lost a huge chunk of their fan base off the album. But to me, it's honestly the greatest album they've ever made. Like, I don't know if they can top it ever. And it's not to say that they've been around for a long time, but I don't think anything that they're going to release after this is ever going to be better than this. And it sucks saying that because it's such a good album. Like, they went from being a Dance Gavin Dance kind of band to being more of like an indie rock kind of band with some Beach Boys vibes in there. They do a song that has like this like doo-wop kind of like vibe to it at the start, and it turns into like a surf punk song. After the following song after that is another surf punk kind of song.
Interesting.
All the lyrics are also extremely catchy. Like, a lot of the stuff that they put out lyrically is always so much fun to just sing. Like, the vocal melodies that CJ comes up with are so amazing. Like, I just always sing to their stuff. Like, anytime I go drive anywhere, anytime I'm driving to work, I will always put on this album, no matter what. Like, it's the one record I can listen to every single day and not ever get tired of it. Wherever I start, so let's say I'm like 2-3 songs in, when I get back into my car, I'll play it from where I was at and then keep going from there.
Nice. They came to Laredo once, right? I think.
Yep, they went to Laredo, and I think they played at that last show or the supposed last show that Somewhere in Between had. Before they finally played a final show.
There's like 3 or 4 final shows that they did. They were like the Ramones, honestly.
Yeah, they've had a few final shows.
I think it was just a promotion gimmick.
Like, everything about the record is just super, super good. From like the punchiness of like the drums. Like, if you listen to like just the mix of the drums itself, they're super punchy. The kick drum just hits you in your chest every time that you're like listening to it, but it's not overbearing. All the guitars are like super sparkly, but still have like a little bit of like grittiness to them. But it's just super pleasing to listen to the whole record itself. Then you go into it and you're listening to like CJ sing, and CJ has such a dynamic voice that just goes from being pretty low to reaching super soaring highs. Like, we're talking like Tillian style, like highs that he can do. Then their keyboard player Andrew also does harmonies along with CJ that just are beautiful. Like, and you sometimes miss some of those the first time you listen to the album, but as you listen to it more and more, you just catch a lot more of what they're doing in the music. Are any of you guys fans of the show Black Mirror?
I've seen a few episodes.
Have y'all seen the episode San Junipero?
Yeah.
So they actually have a song in there that's about the episode. For the longest time, I didn't know that that's what the song was about. And they tell the whole story of that episode in one song. And if you've never seen the episode, you would think this just sounds like a really bittersweet love song. But when you go back and watch the episode and look at the lyrics, it's one for one exactly of what happened in the episode. And more emotionally, in like a more emotional sense is what I mean, is what they do with the song.
So
And it's
they were
actually one of the
pretty
prettiest
popular.
songs they have.
If they were to get on a show like that, I'm pretty sure they would have to make some sort of mark, you know?
Yeah. But it's a really good record overall. Out of all the songs, though, the ones that I think stand out the most to me and are my favorite are Lost in a Room, which was like the title track that they released with it. And I believe it's called Don't Close the Door. Don't Close the Door is the other song that I love a lot. A lot of the songs sound very different because they weren't mixed and mastered by one person. Part of it was done by Ben Rosetta of the band Strawberry Girls. The other part was done by CJ himself. Like, he'll actually record, mix, and master everything for the band too. So he's got a lot of talent when it comes to that, like anything to do with music. So anytime they put out new music or any new songs, I'm always super excited to hear it. Even if it's just a video of CJ like recording with his phone and just dropping an acoustic track, I love like listening to any music by them.
So
It's definitely something I want to check out.
is it like so fans of like Dance Gavin Dance, like swancore music, or is it more like
No, so the old stuff, yeah, I'd say definitely fans of Dance Gavin Dance, but all their newer stuff, I've yet to find another band that sounds similar to them where I could say, yeah, if you listen to this band, you should totally listen to Rome Hero Foxes. The closest comparison I could 100% make is if you're into like Turnover's Peripheral Vision, if you're into
Great fucking record.
if you're into, I don't even know what other bands to compare them to, honestly.
See, that's such a great way to like compare a band because it's like they're their own sound. Like
They really are, and like they take influence from so many other sounds that when they mix it together, you just have this one band that just makes super pretty music. That's the only way that I can describe it. It's just pretty to listen. Like, it's just a really pretty sound, and it's just really good to listen to.
nice.
See, I didn't get to see them when they came into town, and with a name like Rome Hero Foxes, for some reason I just kept thinking they would sound like Me Without You, just because they have an album called Catch for Us the Foxes, so my mind just went there. But the way you describe it sounds completely different, and I'm really excited. So I'm definitely going to be checking these dudes out.
Yeah, and their music, similar to like the Fall Out Boy album, a lot of their music doesn't match the lyrics. Because some of the music is just super happy, super upbeat, and you wouldn't expect it to have super sad lyrics that it does sometimes. Like, some of the lyrics, they don't get super dark, but they just get like sad overall. Like again, like Peripheral Vision, how that album has some pretty sad songs in it. It's lyrics like that, but with more upbeat music rather than the super sad, slow music that Turnover did.
That sounds really dope, honestly. Can't
So
believe
definitely
like
check this out.
it is a band that has been in my radar for a while, like since they came to town, and I never got to check them out. So I'm glad you kind of, sold them on me, because I'm definitely going to be checking them out soon.
Yeah, I believe their name they got from just a random name generator. They just picked out
That's
3
even
different
best,
words, and that's all they did.
That's
Nice.
That's great. I love that. It's like a Childish Gambino's type stuff. He found that name off of a Wu-Tang name generator.
What was your Wu-Tang name generator, Franny?
Lazy ass madman.
That was the best.
It was very accurate.
That's really good.
That was great until you have your new one now, your Instagram handle. That was
That
Post
was my
Malone.
Instagram handle. Dude, I think my Instagram handles have all been bangers, dude. Franza Maker Dance, come on. That was
Root Beer Poppy.
Sugar Poppy, and then Post Malone. So
I think
I'm
that's my
proud of
favorite
that.
one.
I think that's been the biggest contribution to my comedy career is my funny usernames. Other than that,
You can make a
we won't
career
talk
out of
about it.
that, honestly.
I fucking hope so. Actually, a comedian, a local comedian who I will not name, messaged me and he was like, "You're good at coming up with usernames. I'm gonna create an Instagram to promote my comedy. Can you just make up a name for me?" And I was like, "Sure." And I just threw something together. And he was like, "That's great." And then he took
What
it.
was
He
it?
did it.
Can you put in the chat?
If,
I'm really
No,
curious.
we're not gonna promote them.
I'll put it in our group chat so y'all know. And but yeah, so that happened. So
They gotta
anything
pay
else you
pay
Yeah.
for promotion.
That's true.
anything else you
My
want to
bad,
say
my
about
bad.
the record?
Not really anything else, honestly. Just go check it out, and once you listen to that record, go check out the rest of their discography because it's all actually super good. Like even that first record, although it sounds very, very different, and they don't really play any of those songs live anymore. They really don't like associating much with that album. It's still a really good record. Like all their music, I just absolutely love it.
Are they still together?
Yeah, they're still together. They're currently writing a new record, and it's pretty much done. They just been able to go record because of the pandemic.
Ah, gotcha.
Gotcha. Fucking pandemic, man. Fucking COVID.
Oh,
All right.
really?
So,
Unfortunately, Raymond had to bounce.
yeah.
Those who are on the video cast will see that he's been gone for a moment. Those on the audio
Yeah.
probably don't know that he's here or not.
Yeah. Raymond had to take off. He said he wasn't feeling all too well. So, wish him the best. Get some rest. Feel better. We love you. See you on Sunday. To Raymond and you guys, but we'll tell you guys that later on at the end of this. Because he's not here, that means we get to jump into my record. I honestly just barely decided on what record I was going to talk about. I had like 3 or 4 bouncing around in my head. And what made me decide was the fact that Victoria texted me and she was like, "Well, have you picked one already?" I was like, "Shit, I need a reply," and I just said one. And I am going to be talking about the album whose shirt I'm wearing, Death Cab for Cutie's Transatlanticism.
Like,
Uh, have you guys heard this album?
Oh yeah.
Has everybody heard this
Yes.
album? Yes, I love this record. I love this band. Um, what can I say about it? It's such a beautifully done record. All of the instrumentals are absolutely beautiful. The theme of a long distance relationship, and just uh, discovering feelings for somebody else. All of that just hit me really hard when I first heard it, and it hit me even harder um, when my current girlfriend moved away to San Marcos to go to college for like a semester, and we broke up because of that, because we were like, I'm not gonna, I don't know if I can deal with a long distance relationship. And then me and some friends went to Starbucks and they were playing Transatlanticism, and that kind of fucked with me. But yeah, the opening track, The New Year, excellent track. I love the instrumental on it, to the point that my band has a song called The New Year, and it
Yeah,
was
we
kind
do.
of it was inspired by this very song. The next track, Lightness, that simple bass line, super slow. The opening line is so fucking great. It's such a great tone setter for the song. If you've never heard the song before, the opening line is "There is a tear in the fabric of your favorite dress, and I'm sneaking glances." It just sounds so innocent, but also not innocent at the same time. And it just sung in Ben Gibbard's trademark boyish range just sounds even better. The next track is the only track I would almost consider skippable, but again, uh, Ben Gibbard and his delivery really save it, which is Title and Registration, which has some of the corniest lyrics I've ever fucking heard. But it's so simple, so bare bones that it just makes it so lovable. Just the simple simple drum beat and acoustic guitars and repeating lyrics. He managed to make it work even though it's so fucking corny. And the following track is actually my favorite Death Cab for Cutie song of all times, which is Expo 86. It's one of those songs that the lyrics don't fit the music. The music is so happy with like these jangly guitars, and this is the more polished, refined version of another song I mentioned today, which is Weezer's "Tired of Sex." Like this is a song about you know getting tired of casual encounters and not being able to form a legitimate connection with the person that you're with. And it has like those heartbreaking lyrics of like uh uh at this plane they're all basically the same, so I don't ask names anymore. It's such a sad lyric, and I love it. It hit me. I don't know why, but it hit me. And then you've got Sound of Settling, which has those like cute little like doo wop vocal melodies in the background. I think we covered this song at some point, right?
Um, I'm gonna say no. I don't think so.
I think
But
we did because my brother had it saved on his iPhone because he
really?
had to learn the drum beat for it. So we either did or we were going to.
No, we
So
did another Death Cab song. It wasn't the Sound of Settling. It was
okay, well, I know which one it is, and I'll get into it in a minute.
it's on a different
Uh,
album.
no, it's on this album too, but I'll get into that.
It's on it? Okay.
After that, you've got Tiny Vessels, which is another song about not being able to form a connection with people that you're with. And again, that is a very it's something you don't really think about, I guess, and that song puts those kinds of things into perspective. And again, every song here has a very quotable line that I absolutely love. This song has the "You are beautiful, but you don't mean a thing to me." It's like that's cold hearted as fuck, and I absolutely love it. And we get to the point here where we get into the title track, which I cannot like words will not do justice to how beautiful of a track this is, which is Transatlanticism. The namesake of the record. This quote is from that song. Everything about it is just done beautifully. The very slow and dreary build up. Uh, the choral vocals when they start singing "I Need You So Much Closer," the lyrics being about a long distance relationship, but told in this grandiose, almost fable like fashion, where like somebody moving across the Atlantic, and then this song saying that that's the day the Atlantic was born, is because and real it's like you never really think about it until it puts that distance between you and a person that you love. And this reminds me of another song that I really love, which is Bob Dylan's uh, "Boots of Spanish Leather," which deals in like a similar topic of loving someone who is on the other side of the ocean and not knowing when you're going to see them again, and how much you need them around. And again, just that moment where Ben Giver, the entire band, and I forgot the name of the choir. I need to look it up. But they hired a professional choir to just sing "I Need You So Much Closer," and it just sends chills down my spine. How beautiful the song is, how amazingly it was done, and then you get the catharsis of this track, and it goes into like this very skeletal piano piece, which is Passenger Seat, which I love and adore because it's one of the most relatable songs Ben Gibbard has ever written. This whole concept of just driving down a road at night with the person you love and these tiny moments like them looking up at the stars or putting their feet up on the dashboard. It's such a peaceful song, and I've talked about this in other episodes where I feel like some songs, uh, some songs are hurt by their placement on an album. I've said this before about other songs that they're placed in the wrong like they're in the wrong place in the set list and it affects them. I feel like the transition from Transatlanticism to Passenger Seat was perfect. It was so perfect because yeah, it's like such an emotional build up and release in Transatlanticism, and you get the perfect come down in Passenger Seat, and it's amazing. And we just got a comment that leads into the next track. So this is from fellow contributor Alexander Leary, who talks about his favorite Death Cab song, which is "Death of an Interior Decorator," which I I'm gonna say this about every track on the album except for maybe title and registration, but every song on this album I absolutely love. And again, every song is so quotable. This song with the "Can you tell me why you're so sad?" and it's a story of a marriage falling apart, and the title being an obvious allusion to Death of a Salesman. Everything is just so good. And then you get "We Look Like Giants," which is Death Cab's like in my opinion, it's like their only legitimate rocker. Like they turn on the fuzz pedals on this one, and they actually put some power chords in there, and great song altogether. And we get to the closing track. I'm trying to speed through this because I could talk about this album for days on end. Uh, the last track, the closing track. I've said this before. I am a stickler for album closers. I need the closing track to be, impactful, to be a perfect song. And this is the song that we covered, "A Lack of Color." "A Lack of Color" as a closing track.
That
It's
is the
it's
one.
it's it's beautiful, soft little acoustic track. Uh, the lyrics kind of mirror the lyrics of Transatlanticism. Transatlanticism says, "I need you so much closer." Trans A Lack of Color has the refrain of "I should have given you a reason to stay," which is said multiple times throughout the song. It's such a melancholy track, and it ends the album on such a melancholy note, but it feels satisfying too. It's one of those songs that it's quiet because it forces you to listen. It forces you to listen to what Ben Gibbard is saying, and these regrets and admissions that he's making throughout the song, and all of it just worked. I love this album. This is genuinely a cover to cover album. And the only reason why it was so hard for me to decide on it was because I wanted to dedicate an entire episode of the main show to this album, but um, I couldn't wait. I had to talk about it now because I love it. Do you guys have any thoughts on this record? Do you guys have any thoughts about Transatlanticism?
Very beautiful album. Definitely gets into the feels that you know, and I think a lot of people can agree to that. We've talked about that as a band together. That like that album is like really sad. Should we even be covering this song? I remember for before we even covered it, Adhan was like, "Man, that's gonna get put me in my feels." Like, so I definitely like the album. I appreciate Death Cab for Cutie like and Ben Gibbard for making that music. I will say my favorite song though is "The Sound of Settling" because it's just like that. Ba ba. Like I just
Yeah,
like how it
it's such
is.
a
Like
fun song. Yeah.
it's a really fun song. That's definitely one of my favorite ones, and that and Crooked Teeth. But Crooked Teeth was different album, correct?
Crooked Teeth, I think, was on either
Plans.
Plants. It was on
Right.
Plants.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite song. That's like my all-time favorite, like Death Cab song of all time.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that one's a great one. It's so hard for me to decide on a favorite. I know I said it's Expo 86, but as soon as I say that one's my favorite, I start thinking about a bunch
Every
of
other
other
song.
tracks
Yeah.
like Grapevine Fires off of Narrow Stairs. It's so
Yes,
fucking
that one
good.
is that's a good
Uh,
one.
Yeah.
You
The
Are a
entire-
Tourist. Um, Death Cab for Cutie is one of my favorite bands. If you guys can't tell, I have 2 copies of Transatlanticism on vinyl. Uh, one of them was gifted to me by our dear friend Adan, and the other was gifted to me by our friend Nicole Guevara. And I couldn't tell either of them that one of them had already given me the record, so I was like, I'll just keep them both, just in case.
So here it
anything
is,
happens
guys.
with one of them, I have the other. Alex is saying that the music video for Crooked Teeth is really good. I don't think I've seen the music video for Crooked Teeth actually.
That's how I got into Death Cab.
Uh,
Actually,
I remember the music video for Grapevine Fires being super good because that's the animated
Ooh,
music
yeah.
video. That
Yeah,
one
yeah,
was
yeah.
great. And I remember how frustrated I got watching the music video for I Will Possess Your Heart. When there's just
Mhm.
following like the back of that girl's head for 8 minutes because the song is 8 fucking minutes long. But I still love it. You know, it's still
Mhm.
such a great fucking song. And then the music video for Kath was really good. Oh man, I
You
could
ever-
do a whole episode just talking about how much I love Death Cab for Cutie.
You really-
Honestly,
You never got to see him live, right?
I haven't seen them live yet, and that
Yeah.
sucks. I was gonna see them on my 23rd birthday, and I had even talked to. I had posted. So I'm a member of every Death Cab for Cutie fan club that you could possibly sign up for. So when they were about to drop their album Kintsugi, uh, they sent out a link for early listenings to members of their fan club. So I got to listen to the album like I think a week before it dropped. And if you knew me back then, which I know Arnold did, I think Victoria maybe did, you may have gotten my text where I told everybody to not talk to me for the next hour because I was going to be listening to the new Death Cab record
Mhm.
and I wasn't going to be answering any calls or texts.
Mhm.
So I heard the album. It was great. I posted a micro review of it on my Instagram, and I ended up getting a message from their bass player, Nick
Mhm.
Harmer. He was like, "Hey, thanks for the kind words and everything." And I ended up talking to him, and I shot my shot, and I was like, "Hey, you guys are gonna be in Austin around the time of my birthday. I want to go see you guys. Can I buy y'all dinner? Like, I'll pay for the entire band to go out to dinner." And he didn't say no. He didn't say
I
no.
remember that.
I remember that
But
too.
then life happened, and I didn't get to see Death Cab, and I didn't get to have dinner with Death Cab for Cutie.
That would have been pretty
Sad
legit.
reacts. Yeah. Sad reacts, please. F's in the chat for me.
Don't worry. You know, when
Um,
I die, you can get that baseball tee from me.
Dude.
Should we tell them?
I remember that. I have the baseball cards that correlate. Would you guys like to hear that story? Okay. So Arnold has this amazing Death Cab for Cutie baseball tee, which is like white with blue sleeves, and it has baseball card illustrations of all 4 members of the band.
That's really
And
dope.
I asked Arnold, right? It's beautiful. And I asked Arnold if I could ever like buy it off of him or what could I do to get that shirt. And I asked him this when we were both in my car. I was driving, he was in the passenger seat. And I asked him, what could I do to ever get that shirt? And he was just like, well, you can get it from me when I die. And I just pretended like I was about to push him out of my moving car
You
so I
should.
could get that shirt. I should have,
You really should
but I didn't.
Can we
You know-
see it? Arnold? Do you have it on you?
Well, I'm in Nashville and I have a very limited amount of clothing. But realizing like this,
Bring it with you? That's really messed up.
realizing this now, I haven't seen that shirt in like 3 years. So
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's somewhere deep in my closet or my clothes where like that are in a box. So
See, I would show that shirt the proper respect it deserves. I wouldn't even wear it. I would put it in a frame
Yeah.
and just hang it up on my wall somewhere.
Unlike
So-
Arnold, who doesn't care about Death Cab for Cutie enough to
Exactly.
deserve a shirt like
hey,
that.
hey, I went to go see them at Codes and Keys tour in Austin, so that's why I got that shirt.
Okay, fair.
Codes and Keys is a great underrated album. Codes and
Mhm.
Keys is Death Cab's Folie, Deux, as in people shit on it for some reason. but Stay Young, Go Dancing, You Are a Tourist. All those are great fucking songs. I don't get why they're hated on as much. Um, but I think that's all I have to say on that record, at least for now. Who knows? I might go wild and make an episode about it on the main show.
You should.
Dude, you could do a podcast on your own with that fucking
I'll
band
do
or
my
any
own-
album.
I'll do my own podcast where I just talk about Death Cap's entire discography and how much it's made
That'd be
me
a
cry
solid
over the years.
You could do like a movie length podcast. You could do a 3-hour movie length podcast.
Easily.
Oh shit! So the MVP of the chat here, Alex Leary, is posting a link to Ben Gibbard covering Frightened Rabbit, which is a band that he mentioned on one of the episodes he was on, saying that he loves. So thank you, Alex. I'll definitely be checking it out. I hope everybody else here checks it out. The people watching check it out. And if you're still on here, Alex, I hope we can get you in another episode soon, man. It's been a minute. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Death Cab for Cuties, Transatlanticism, abridged. Because I could talk about this at length. If you guys in the comments have any other albums that you guys want to talk about, let us know. We'll discuss them real quick. If not, then this is kind of where we can just start winding down the show. If anybody has any plugs right now, Arnold, anything you want to plug?
I have nothing at the moment besides the usual. Follow my YouTube. That's all I really do.
Our video casts are going to be on his YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to Time Bomb
They'll be
Vids.
happening. They'll be happening eventually.
Eventually.
I have them all uploaded. I'm just waiting for like a nice promo video, and then we'll get it done, and I'll release it like by
we
week.
do need to work. We've been talking about that for weeks now. We need to work on that. I'm sorry.
all
Victoria,
good.
anything you'd like to plug? Anything you'd like to talk about?
No, I have nothing. I'm sorry, guys.
I will say we made it one podcast without somebody saying, "Victoria, I love your hair" in the comments.
That's true.
That hasn't happened today. Holy shit.
That's true. Thank God. Everyone's forgetting about it. This disgusting, whatever color this is.
It's
We
either
need
like
to-
something about your hair or someone saying "I love you" in the chat.
That's true. I know.
You know what?
Having fans, Arnold, look it up. One day you might get that. Okay.
Excuse me, I have 52 subscribers.
How many of them do you have bots though? Is what I want to know.
51.
And your
The
mom,
other one is his mom.
yeah, doesn't count
Yeah.
Arnold.
It's not too late. Tell Victoria you love her hair in the comments. We're still here. We gotta do it
By Arnold.
If that happens, we're gonna show it on the screen. So
on the screen. Yeah. So if anybody shouts out Victoria or her hair,
What
it's
if I
gotta be on the on
out?
screen.
you can't shout yourself out.
That's like giving
You're
your own
just
status
yelling.
like, you know.
Yeah, apparently.
Uh,
You want to be on this?
You're
oh
talking to your
shit.
cat now.
We have a new guest.
Pulling out
Clearly
the cat.
a willing
No. Come
The
here.
cat wants to peace out. All right, so
She just
clearly a willing participant.
Here we go.
meow or
Alright.
something.
Lovely.
All right.
And Fern, anything you'd like to plug?
Literally just the usual. Go follow my band on Spotify, Apple Music, or anything. We're called Moving Around.
Dude, I need to tell you, and I'm gonna say this on the stream. I'm very dumb. For the longest time, I thought your band was called Moving Along, not Moving Around. So when I try to look you guys up on Spotify, I could never find you, and I was like, "What the fuck? Am I being punked right now? Is this just like one big prank on me?" Like,
Yeah, it's just a
And
giant
then-
inside joke. I don't actually have a band.
You're being pop punked.
oh, that's. Let's make a sticker with that saying on it.
Just with the trucker hat, like
And,
Ashton Kutcher.
yeah, so with a trucker hat, and it just says you just got pop punked. Yeah, that works. We're taking that idea, Fern. Sorry. And as for me, I'm gonna plug this show, Hindsight 2020. We have new episodes every Sunday and a side show every Wednesday. Check it out. This Wednesday, we're going to be joined by Raymond Cabrera, Lex Chapa, and Roger Ramirez to discuss the second half of Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion. Are we going to be able to cover the entire second half? Who fucking knows? That was our longest episode. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, so come check that out. We've got new episodes coming out. If you guys want us to talk about a particular episode, hit us up in the comments, message us, and we'll definitely look into it. I also want to plug one of our contributors, Joel Alexander, and I have a little webcomic called The Anarchids, where we just kind of make fun of punk rock stereotypes or make jokes about bands that we love. Really appreciate it. You guys check that out, give it a like, and that's kind of it for me. So thank you guys for hanging out with us and hearing us talk about albums that we love so much. I hope you guys, this piqued your interest and you guys check out 4 really great albums. And yeah, stay safe out there, and we love you. Someone just signed in. Bad timing, brother. We're done. See you later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.